We are in on the tier list here at Ring Chasin. We're getting to that point in the calendar where Combine just ended, draft's not for another month and a half. NFL free agency is NFL free agency. NHL trade deadline isn't even happening. No one's making trades. Like, might as well just cancel the whole entire deadline itself. It's time to go back to the association, and who better to talk about it than Ethan Shum and Robert Watson, and I guess me by proxy, by asking, by proxy. I guess I can be in that group too. All right, guys, we're just going to run through the teams in the East. I know you can see some Western Conference logos there below. Unfortunately, tierlistmaker.com does not have an Eastern Conference by itself one, so we're just going to have to rock with this one today, guys. All right, starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, guys. As of recording today, this is kind of funny because I remember that whole thing about them where it was like their last 400 games, they're 200 and 200. Their last 100 games, they're 50 and 50. Well, they're back at it post-deadline after the trades. They're 31 and 31 right now. Rob, Ethan, whoever wants to go first. Where is the Atlanta Hawks organization right now?
It's interesting because, they go ahead, they trade Trae Young this year. Like, they move on from that whole thing. I'm really big all-star this year. I think he's a guy who could be one of the top 2 players on your team. When you step down from that, it gets a little dicey. Like, Risha Shea is a number 1 overall pick. He's going to be in those convos as one of the ones that's just, not that good. But they got pieces. I like a Kongwu. I'd wager to say Rising, but like it's like an iffy one between Rising and Mid for the Hawks, in my opinion.
Ethan, where you got him sitting? And I'll be the tiebreaker here.
I think based off their record, I think Mid it would probably be smart. But for me, I'd personally have them in Rising because obviously you have Jalen Johnson who stepped up to the plate in a major way and was a first-time All-Star this year. As Rob alluded to, you get rid of Trae Young. You're like, what is this team going to be? Are they rebuilding? What is going on? Make a move and then bring in Kuminga as well. They have a lot of guys who are like 2s, 3s, and 4s on championship teams. Johnson's looking more so like he'd be the number 1. I love Alexander Walker as well. And they're a team that shares the ball like no one else in the NBA. I believe they're leading the NBA in assists per game as well. So just overall, to me, I think a team that's showing a little bit of promise after – a little couple question marks at the deadline. So I would personally have them in Rising because I think that they'll actually be pretty pesky and it's not too hard to make the play in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm the tiebreaker now between you two, right in the middle there.
Yeah. Well, I think we both said Rising.
Oh, you're Rising. Oh, okay. Then no tiebreaker. I love it.
Do you have anything? You have anything to add though to that, Jack?
Do
you have anything to add though to that?
No, not at all. Zachary Risher, one of the coolest names in the NBA. That's what I'll throw you. I learned that Onyeka Okongwu was on Chino Hills or Chino Hills. How do you say it?
Chino Hills.
Chino Hills. I learned he was on that team with LaMelo Ball on TikTok this week, so that's what I got for you. Next one. A real fun one to talk about, actually. Guys, everyone in the world said down year for the Boston Celtics, 40 and 20 as we sit recording today, second in the Eastern Conference. Where is this team, guys? Because, hey, coming into the year, quick little retool 1 year. Oh, Tyson, or not Tyson. Tatum is down. Bam, you flip around, you're back.
For me personally, I have them in title, and I may have them in the top 3 or 4 because they're my favorite to come out of the East this year, especially with Tatum coming back this Friday, which he's actually rushing back for – I don't know why. They're actually 20 games above 500. I don't know why he's rushing back, but –
Why would he do that?
Not sure. He just wants to join the team. But, I mean, they made a couple moves. They started with Anthony Simons on their team, traded him, got rid of him, brought in Vucevic. Still can't play any defense, but adds a good aspect of spacing the floor like the Celtics are known to play. And they're a team that's going to run and gun and shoot a ton of threes. They want to move the ball. They want to take a bunch of shots, kind of low in possession time per game. But I think that going to the Garden in the playoffs is an extremely hostile environment. It's very, very hard to win there, especially with your pick, Jack, of Jaylen Brown looking like an MVP right now. Derek White's giving them a bunch of production. Pritchard, Vucevic, like they have so many pieces around them to really be a dangerous threat. And I think easily they should be top 3 or 4 in the title window for this.
Rob, what do you got for the Celtics?
I completely agree with everything he just said, pretty much. I mean, Tatum coming back, I hope he's not rushing. You don't want to see him get hurt. I would just wager to assume it just means he's healthy. Like I saw him dunking a few months back because the science and the stuff they got for these injuries nowadays is just so different. And when you look at how good the team was without him, it's only going to get better with him coming back. I mean, he mentioned all the guys, like you still got Pritchard, White, Hauser, Kada giving a different look at the center position for when Vucevic can't play defense. They're just a very versatile team, and they're just deep. They've replenished. They found their way out of the second apron, and they found young talent, and it's still working. So I mean, if Tatum comes back and he could be at least 80% of himself, it's a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you before we throw them in, and yeah, I'm going to go in there and put them in real quickly while we're talking. That is absolutely the title contender in the Eastern Conference. So one thing you kind of hear people in Cleveland talking about right now, and obviously these players are apples to oranges. They're not going to have the same impact on their team's playoff runs, but everything you hear out of Kenny Atkinson is like, yeah, we're not going to rush Max Strus, but like if he ever wanted to play basketball again, that'd be pretty cool. You know, like it'd be nice to like get him in the rotation a little bit, like see if, we can maybe juxtapose some things around before the playoffs. Is that what you view this as, Rob? 'Cause I mean, Ethan just touched on it for a second. Like, is this just strictly getting Jason Tatum like reacclimated back to the rotation, or is this just like hey, like let's see if we can get him up to 38 minutes a night comfortably or 35 minutes a night before the playoffs?
I mean, it's a large combination. I don't think they would want to risk playing him heavy minutes at all in the regular season. As Ethan mentioned, they're all the way above 500. They're a top 2 seed. Like they're going to have home court, at least for the first round, possibly the second. I think it's really just like get him out there, see how his body responds. He probably is not playing back-to-backs, like they're load managed, the heavy minutes restrictions, all that, but they're going to want him to be as good to go as Jason Tatum as possibly could be for the playoffs. And even if they get a weak first round draw, you could see him resting then too. Like they're going to be very smart about it with him. So.
All right, guys, next one in the Eastern Conference. Rob, I know you were tuned in to Cavs Nets. I think it was 2 days ago now. And we actually took the time to name the bottom tier after the Brooklyn Nets. Rob, all the Nets had to do was hit the rim, and they could possibly get the ball back to take the lead on the Cavs. The guy didn't miss the rim. He almost missed the backboard. I don't think he even got it in the square. Does anyone have a word to say about the Brooklyn Nets besides putting them in the bottom tier?
I mean, Danny Wolf had a great game, but it's a void. It's a void out there. It's bad.
What are your thoughts on is Jordy Fernandez is their coach, right?
I don't even know who the coach is. I can't lie. Like I can't even act. Like it's just
I love how like very clearly, like I did not know that one of the top 5 players in the NBA was returning to his team on Friday, but I was like, oh yeah, Jordy Fernandez, Brooklyn Nets head coach.
and MPJ plays unethical hoops as well. He's just stat padding like out of the wazoo.
It's nasty out there. It's really nasty. It truly is. I mean, Traore had the game too, but it's nothing out there. They're so many years away. Unless they get perfect.
People do say they went 0 for 5 in their draft class last year too. For a team that's rebuilding, it's probably not the best thing to do.
It's really bad out there.
Next one, guys. Charlotte Hornets sitting a game under 500 right now. I have not kept great tabs on how they've been post All-Star break. I know they lost out of the break and then lost to the Cavs on a back-to-back the day after. But I believe entering the All-Star break, they were playing ridiculous basketball. Like they'd won like 9 and 10 or something like that. Where do you guys place the Charlotte Hornets?
So, I mean, to be one who's not too into on Hornets sides, I will put them in the rising category. Obviously, they're a team that's around 500 as well. I'm not the biggest LaMelo guy. I think when it comes to unethical hoops, he's the first person that comes up when you Google it. I think he's extremely shifty, but I was watching their game against the Blazers a few days ago, and LaMelo took the first 8 shots of the game and was 1 for 7 and gets subbed out. Just a disaster. But Con Knüppel has been unbelievable, easily the rookie of the year so far. His Duke teammate Flag is going to be the one who is challenging that. He just broke the rookie record for 3-pointers, and they have 3 dudes who are leading the NBA in threes as well. Just on a team like that, there's a lot of guys who are coming in and out of the G League as well. A lot of guys that need minutes. I'm just trying to figure out where this rotation is going. So it's a fun team to watch because it's a lot of moving parts, and they do have some good stars and great pieces with them. I wouldn't necessarily say they're mid, but I would say that they're rising for sure.
Rob, it seems like we got some diaper dandies on this team.
I'm in agreement, actually, again, with mostly all of what Ethan said. I mean, Knipple has been the bright spot of the team. He's what's making the Hornets a rising team. If he wasn't on there, I don't think you could put them in there. I think Brandon Miller is also the guy I'm high on that team. And I had this talk with one of my friends a while ago. I think the Hornets are going to kind of have to make one of those the dynasty starts after you moves. And I think LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges need to go. They're two guys that have made the team watchable for a few years, but I no longer I don't think they're winning basketball players at this point in their careers, or it's just not really their play style. So I think they need to make moves around. Like, they got other pieces like Grant Williams and Josh Green who could be like role players on good teams. But I think every time I do watch them play the Cavs, and when I do see them play, it's just you see LaMelo Ball taking these awful shots, and Con Knipple is just so efficient, and you just wonder what would it be like if they were playing through him and they had smarter players with him.
And
I wanted to ask you real quick, I guess either of you guys on this, Rob, you think you made a very interesting point about LaMelo being out there and saying it might be one of those things where it's like, hey, the dynasty starts when you leave. Like, it might just be one piece away. You made this so fun for so long. You kept us watchable on TV on weeknights sometimes. Is this like a DeMar DeRozan type of situation where you think it's like it could almost be a collateral move of, hey, we move this guy out for a need. Maybe it's like a big for Charlotte. I'm not too sure. And then that's when they go out and you're like, hey, maybe you hit that next level.
I mean, it's interesting. I wonder what LaMelo Ball's market is, because he's a guy that's not a plus defender, and he's an inefficient player on offense. And while he can facilitate, he turns the ball over a lot. So I think a lot of the allure that he had as this like star with so much potential has dropped off. So I don't know. I think DeMar was a really good player. They just weren't good enough to get over the hump. I don't really see it as this. Like, I really just think they need to get somebody out of the way to let another player shine.
I think we're also starting to see a little bit of that as well with the Kobe White deal, which I love, by the way, who brings in a lot of, moving the ball around, can do a little bit of scoring himself too. But like Rob, I completely agree though. Like, take Khan and take Brandon Miller. Let's start it with those two, man. Like, let's Bridges with all his off-court issues and LaMelo with his off-court issues now as well. Let's just start with these two other guys who are, bright spots on this team, and they have some decent pieces around them. They're a good three-point shooting team. So I agree with you, Rob.
Guys, the Chicago Bulls. Tell me about them, please.
Not much to tell you.
That's what I was thinking.
Not much to tell you.
Guys, let me ask you this. Are they Nets tier, or are there any redeeming pieces on their roster that you guys think, whether it's maybe not the main guy, maybe it could be your second guy and you go on and get a title, is there anything in Chicago that you're like, okay, we got a future here?
I mean, if they get a good pick and you pair like a Debansa with like a Giddey, now that's like you got a little bit of something. But I mean, other than that, I mean, like, they made the trade for Dillingham and he like doesn't play. Like, it's just Ivy's out there too. I don't think he plays. Like, they've kind of just been collecting some of the guys. It's nothing going in Chicago right now. Pure.
Are they playing like a Guardians kind of, and just like, if anyone who had a potential in the video game 5 years ago and was under 22 years old, like, we'll just go get you?
A little bit, because I mean, Sexton's out there now too. Okoro's there. Like, they kind of just collecting like a bunch of former top picks that haven't really panned out. But I mean, I think it's really just they go for they're hoping they get Peterson, Boozer, somebody in this draft, and go with Giddey.
Ethan, are they Nets tier for you?
Yeah, I think so. It's just like an island of misfit toys in a way, if that makes sense. Like, it's just a bunch of guys that don't really have a role in the league right now, and they're able to produce, but there isn't much, I guess, like long-term fit with a lot of these guys. Like, I don't know where Anthony Simons fits, Trey Jones, Jalen Smith is now giving them 10 a night, which I just don't see him being that type of player. Colin Sexton has never been a part of a winning team, and he's never been a priority in the NBA in one time of his career. Buzelis is fun, but there's really not much, though.
Little Boozy Vert, I believe, is what they
Buzelis is a fun player.
Guys, next one. Your Cleveland Cavaliers. I see two very interesting categories up there at the top. I see title and I see window closing. Guys, have you seen enough in the – and I know that injuries have kind of messed around the last week or so, especially with the Cavs. Have you seen enough in the short on and off tenure of James Harden with the Cavs that you feel confident to put him in the title contender and not window closing?
I don't think I can say so. Like, if I had to pick honestly, from what I've seen, and I think the team has gotten much better. but I think they fit much more in one category than the other, and I sadly think it's window closing for the team. I could elaborate more, but I'd like to
Agree.
hear what you guys think. But I think it's definitely more window closing.
Well, we'll elaborate after we go around the horn here. A little
Mhm.
6-4-3, Ethan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ultimately, it's just come down to playoffs. That's been what this team's mantra has been the last few years. We know they can get it done in the regular season. We obviously make some big deals and get Harden. The team offensively is just not what it was last year. It's not, and there's been a lot of growing pains that go through that. You still don't have Strus. Just the whole rotation as a whole is not, I guess, fit like a glove like it's supposed to. So it's all going to come down to playoffs. And I would not say that they're a title contender. I would more so say, you got to figure this thing out because your window is in fact closing. So
No,
what do you
I
think,
totally
Jack?
agree with you guys. I think you're at a point now where, like, if you can. I don't know if I want to say that. Okay, no, I'm gonna take that back. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. That was gonna be really, really stupid. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna forego the opinion I was about to put out that is recorded and other people can hear on where the Cleveland Cavaliers are at right now. Not gonna say. Okay,
I'd love to hear it.
It's a
Whatever
tough
your
spot.
opinion
They're in
is.
an interesting
okay.
place.
If you're at a point, Ethan made me think of this. If you're at a point where you don't get it done this year, right? Let's say I'm not going to just take the bow out and say we lose in 5 games in the second round. We're not going to do anything like that. But let's say you don't get it done. I don't know exactly how it looks. Is there any scenario out of this where you trade Donovan Mitchell and it's not Donovan Mitchell asking for a trade?
I doubt it. I think he'd request out, but I also think I just don't think we win a ring this year, and I truly do think I saw the reports. I think the plan is the retirement tour, and they're going to try to get LeBron. Will that move the needle with he's 43 on the team? We shall see. But I kind of think that's where the play is going. And then when that doesn't work and he retires, or if it does work, either way, I think it's still a tear down and everyone moves on in a year or two. I really think this whole core, you got 2 years and then they're probably tearing everything down at the studs.
Ethan, off what he just said, that sounds a lot like a window closing.
Yeah, it does for sure. And I think to your point, Jack, if you're selling Donovan Mitchell, you're talking about a complete blow up here because your number 2 option, I mean, obviously James Harden's not getting any younger, but Evan Mobley has not shown that he can be a viable 2 yet in this league. Obviously averaging 20 and 8 a night is great. Winning DPOY last year is awesome. But I mean, we've seen over the last stretch, the last few games without Harden or Donovan, he's looking to his left and right, trying to find someone else to take the moment from him. So not the type of guy I personally would turn my entire franchise the keys over to. But I mean, obviously he's an amazing piece, and I would definitely want him to stay in Cleveland. But getting rid of Donovan resets this entire team and franchise 5 years with the hopes of trying to find someone that can replace his production.
Giannis may still be on the cards too, because I think they're starting to realize it with Mobley that it's just never going to be what everyone thought it was going to be. I think he reached his ceiling in year 3, which is kind of crazy, but he's a good player. But the talk of the potential, I just don't think it's ever going to come through.
It just doesn't feel like there's much to even go off of now. How much more can he go? How much better can he be?
And it's not bad. It's just I think
it's
the word potential just ruins a lot of the thought about a lot of players.
Yeah.
He's a borderline all-star guy and a guy that could be in DPOY talks. It's a great player.
And mind you too, he got a few MVP votes last year. He was 10th. He was 10th in MVP voting last year.
Really?
He was. He got MVP votes.
He's just not a guy who's going to create his own offense. He's going to be a great defender. And if you got good facilitators, he could get you about just under 20 and close to 10. It's a good stuff.
If he's a number 3 man, that's
great. It's a great option at the 3rd spot. I think he'd be better at being Chet than Chet, but sadly he's being asked to do a little more.
Yeah.
Rob, that is a great quote out of you. As we move on, that's really funny. The Detroit Pistons, guys, you got to think title contender here, right? I mean, you're first in your conference right now. That I don't think that window is closing by any means. I think if anything, that puppy is just opening.
So hear me on this, because if we're keeping it based on the actual names, I don't think they're a title contender.
Or rising.
Based on how they've been in the past, I would say it's a rising team. Granted, I think they're still the 1 seed, but does anyone buy it? Does anyone buy that the Pistons are a title contender? The Pistons that beat a Cavs team without Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in overtime by 2 off a terrible call. Like the
I
team
mean,
that without Cade playing at his best, like the Spurs made them look terrible. Like Cade has a bad game and it's just all over. I like Duran as a player, but that can't be your second option. Like who else is scoring? Duncan Robinson's like someone they rely on to score points on that team. Like I don't know.
I was gonna say I don't think they beat the Cavs if they don't intentionally turn the lights off like the Super Bowl. That shit was wild. Ethan, are you in the same boat? Do you see the Pistons as a legitimate title contender above the Cavs this year?
I think for this year, I think I got to give them the respect. Just being 45-14, I will put them over the Cavs. To me, the Pistons are also this year's New England Patriots. I think that they are definitely ahead of schedule. I think Cade Cunningham is Drake May. They live or die by him. And I think that pretty much if they're able to, make it pretty far in the playoffs, like I think it would be very great for the organization. But I don't think the fan base in the organization would look at it like, oh, this is a bummer of a season. This is like, no, this is a step in the right direction type of year.
For sure. We'll throw them in the rising category. But Rob, I wanted to ask you as well with this group, how much of it, I'm not saying it's a massive number for you whatsoever or anything, but it's actually, in looking at it now, it is so funny that Hawks and Pistons are in the same group.
Yeah, that is.
But, we might have to juxtapose that puppy a little bit. Rob, what percentage of your hesitancy on this year's Pistons is watching JB Bickerstaff get groups to overperform throughout the regular season up until the playoffs, and then suddenly the little engine that could runs out of steam?
I mean, it's a fact with his teams. They play hard and they play the regular season harder than any other team. And when you get to the playoffs, it's different. And I think Cade is a great player. He could be a little inefficient at times himself, but on this team, he's forced to shoot so much and the ball is always in his hands. Teams are going to be able to take the ball out of his hands in the playoffs. And when that happens, and you're relying on Dennis Jenkins and Tobias Harris and Jalen Duran and Duncan Robinson to create for themselves, and it's not going to be a good look. It's just not. So I mean, I think that's a second round exit probably. But I mean, even depending on who they catch in the first round, like say the Hornets were an 8 seed and they came in with a good game plan and people were locked in, like that could be a 6-7 game series in my opinion.
Absolutely. Guys, next one here on the tier list, the Indiana Pacers, who are in one of the, I mean, probably not one of the weirdest position, I would say, in the NBA. Where do you guys put them?
So I have them in rising. This year is I'm going to scratch it out year because Halliburton obviously goes down. You haven't had him the entire year. Siakam, Nembhard, and all those other guys have still looked really good. Nesmith, like it's almost like their roles haven't changed since last year, but they still just don't have that one facilitator, that one guy that Halliburton provides. I love that they made the deal for Zubac at the deadline as well. He's such a great lockdown center because Miles Turner is obviously gone now. Like their depth and their rotation is just as good as it was last year. They're just missing their key piece, which is their star in Halliburton. So I'm not going to count them out as a team that's window closing yet because I think they're sort of still just getting going. They're just missing out on their best player.
Rob?
I guess we don't really have like a category for it, but this is the team everyone needs to like look out for next year. Because when you get Halliburton back healthy, they've added Zubac in the mix. You retain your guys like Nembhard, Naismith, and Siakam. What everyone's forgetting is this team, technically, if this was like the NFL, they would have the second pick in the draft right now. Yeah. And that's what they're going to have to add to this core next year, which is why making a move like Zubac at the deadline goes under the radar. You would keep him around for next year. You keep that team, get better at center, and then you add a young guy into the mix to, like I've said, like that lottery is going to be an interesting day because this team could get a Boozer. This team could get a Wilson, DeBanza, a Peterson. Mm-hmm. They're right in the mix. So now you add that back in with a healthy Halliburton, and that's a team we're talking about that could be a title contender. So definitely got to keep your eyes out for the Pacers, and the draft lottery really turn some fortunes around for them. And even if they say want to turn that pick into a top star, like this is a great draft, and draft picks at the top are going to be worth a lot. So they got a lot of options.
And it was kind of funny too because they missed on Johnny Furphy with their first round pick, and he has not panned out to be anything to where they drafted him at. But like to me, I think the Pacers are a team that you could actually look out for Boozer as well, especially if they go top 3. I don't think that they're necessarily a team that would want to go guard or small forward. I think they have a lot of depth in that position. I think that they need some more like stretch wings and bigger guys. And I think like getting a cornerstone piece like Boozer, pairing him with Halliburton, who is, a master facilitator, great outside shooting. Zubac is great down low as well. Like he fits to me like extremely well. And I think that could be a huge name to look out for them.
Guys, moving on to everyone's favorite team, one of the most relevant teams in all of professional sports at the moment, your Miami Heat. Guys, any thoughts on what direction the Miami Heat are heading in? Do the Miami Heat know what direction they're heading in?
Super mid, man. I think they're just banking on that they're going to get Giannis this offseason somehow. Like, I think that's like all Heat fans really have to look forward to at this point.
That
like
is a good like Pat Riley classic.
It is.
Because, I mean, it would look nice if you, like, kept Powell, who's had a great start. It was a great year, and you got out of bio, and then you throw Giannis in. It's like, oh, we got the big three. But, like, does anyone really think that's going to happen? Who knows? Because I think he's still got to be traded. So it's weird, but definitely just mid-team right now. Just a mid-team.
Ethan, you got him in mid as well?
Like, technically, if you watch their games, they score a lot of points, but it isn't necessarily like an amazing and or finished product by any means. Like it's almost like watching like an AAU team out there playing. Like there's like, where are these guys going to be? I have no idea, but they score a lot of points and they're kind of fun to watch. So perfectly mid, I guess.
Guys, it appears things are getting late really early out in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, that's a team. I guess they're not Brooklyn Nets. Like, I don't know what their record is, but I wouldn't say
it ain't far off.
I wouldn't say they're that
pretty
bad,
great.
but I mean, when you safely assume that Giannis is going to be off the team, it very quickly becomes Brooklyn Nets. So I could get ahead of the bullet and go Nets there for the bubble up.
Ethan, are you on the same boat?
Yeah. Without minus Giannis, there's nothing there. That's really. I like Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins is cool, and AJ Green's fun.
Nice player.
Those are nice guys. But
doesn't AJ Green like weirdly have a relatively hefty contract?
I don't know. I know they got Cam. Like they got Cam Thomas and Kevin Porter Jr. on the same team out there now. Like there's odd pairings in the league right now with some of this stuff. Like it's weird mixes.
Guys, this is an interesting one because was it last Tuesday the Cavs beat the Knicks?
I believe so.
Right around there, and everyone and their mother in Cleveland was like, "Yeah, like not scared of them at all." Like, and again, like it wasn't like a great Brunson night or anything. Like everyone kind of seemed like, "Oh, like we're fine. Don't worry about them." Where do you guys have the New York Knicks though?
This is another tough one. This is one where I could go back and forth between either.
Right.
My brain, I think the Knicks are mid. I'm not going to put them in mid. I'm going to put them in window closing. But that's also just because I have a little bit of spite towards Jalen Brunson. I don't think he's a number one. I think at best he could be a 2 or a 3. I think Cat is a number 2 or a 3. I think OG Anunoby is a 2 or a 3. I think Mikal Bridges is a 2 or a 3. So the general consensus to me is that this team is full of guys who can't be that guy. I mean, it's been apparent, congrats they won the NBA Cup, but it's been pretty apparent over the last few years. Like Brunson goes a little bit cold. What does this team look like? Cat wants the ball. Brunson gets upset. OG sits in the corner. Bridges will play 40 minutes. A little bit of good bench depth. But, there's no substance there to me where I'm like, this team is a title contender. When they put it together, they look fantastic. Way too much up and down. We saw in that Cavs game, they couldn't make a shot that second half. Like, it was ugly. And we've seen that a lot this year with them. So I'm putting them in window closing.
Rob?
Couldn't agree more. It's a window closing team, and he really got me there with it. It's a bunch of guys who are not that guy. Now, what's interesting for the Knicks is that I think they could go from window closing to window open with a couple moves, because when you got a bunch of 2s and 3s, that means you could turn a couple 2s and 3s into a 1. Will that opportunity arise for them? Will there be a good fit? I don't know. I don't have anything at the top of my mind on the horizon right now. I don't know, say here, let me throw something out. I mean, but he's getting up there. But say Kawhi Leonard's really trying to get out of LA and they're like, here, take Cat, take Anunoby, we'll take Kawhi. Am I hearing it if Kawhi could play enough games and he's with Jalen Brunson in the East? I'm listening. That's a little bit more to me. I feel like that's something that could work better. But as it stands right now, the window is closing. With this core, they kind of got Cat. They threw a bunch of stuff together. They got the Villanova guys still. I think it really hurt them losing DiVincenzo. I don't think the team's been the same since. I feel like he brought a special part to the team, having all of them together. I think that's the furthest they got was when he was still on the team. So definitely a window closing team, but they're always able to shake it up in New York and put a contender out there. So
And what's going to be even more interesting too is that the Nets have all their picks in that Mikal Bridges trade. It was 4 first rounders, and then they had a 2026 pick swap, and then also another second rounder. It's like this team doesn't have any picks. So like these trades that they're going to have to make if they want to, get a number one guy, like they're going to have to give up some of their capital when it comes to their experienced players. And like Josh Hart's been on that team for a bit. Like Josh Hart's, his stock's pretty high. I'm so confused and don't know how they're going to go at this, but I think it'll be interesting to see.
And for any New York Knicks fans that if they somehow see this, I'll tell you Donovan Mitchell's not the answer for your team. Like that's just another guy who, when you really boil it down, it's like a fringe 2, like a high tier 2, but like as a 1, it gets a little iffy. And then like I don't know, like they could say like the Bookers of the world, or if they ever tried to get KD, like I think it's time's running out, and I think this is the time in the NBA. And it hasn't been like this for a while, to be bad and to get the young talent, because the young talent is your best bet at starting to get some of these higher tier guys in a couple of years, because we got people aging out and other people tied up in contracts. But the Knicks are in a weird spot.
And last thing on this, Jack, I apologize for staying on this. Give me Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. We'll go Jose Alvarado and Tyler Kolek. And whatever picks they have left for Luka, and just run it with Luka, Brunson, and Cat, and Mitchell Robinson, and see what happens.
Rob, are you taking those eats home with you?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing Luka in New York, because I mean they got to do something in LA, but we'll save that for the Western Conference video.
Yes, we will. Hey, that's a great plug too. How about that guy? Forward thinking Robert Watson. That's what they've always called him. Orlando Magic. Guys, they're in a weird spot. They're kind of like the Cavs, I feel, in a way. We're like entering the year, rather, where it's like, okay, like you're kind of like waiting. Like you actually, well, we didn't do anything in the offseason. They made a couple of moves in the offseason to try and improve their roster. Nothing has come to fruition for them. I think they're sitting under, actually, no, they're not under 500. They're 3 games over 500. I apologize. Where do you have them? Because I think they like might as well be the Orlando question marks.
Well, this is extremely mid. How many firsts did they trade for Bane? Was it like 4 or 5?
It was 3 or 4. No, it was a hefty lump.
So imagine if when we traded for Donovan, we like were super like mid, like we arguably got worse. Like imagine we traded for Donovan, Darius got worse, a guy who was like, because I used to think Paulo was like next up, just completely forgets how to play. I think Franz has just been hurt, but yeah, I mean this is mid, like very mid, like I'd say worse than Heat mid. And it's bad because they just wagered all this to get Desmond Bane, and it's clearly not a fit. It's kind of like when the Pelicans got DeJounte Murray, or when the Hawks got DeJounte Murray. Like a lot of this.
Anyone got DeJounte Murray?
Yeah, this is pretty mid, very very mid. They're in a bad spot in Orlando.
That's a great comparison. Yeah, I'm not a big believer in Franz Wagner either. Like I just don't think he is a top 10 player in his position. And also, like Anthony Black's taken a great leap this year, though. Like he's been great. Like I was very down on that draft pick because that was at a time when the Magic were just hauling top college prospects. They had so many guards. Suggs was like had that really good playoff stretch where I'm like he's going to get most of the minutes. And then they draft him, and then they eventually get Tristan Da Silva as well. But like Anthony Black's been much better. He's averaging 15 now. So like they're definitely a mid team. I would say that they're probably like number 1 on the mid scale before they go up to rising, though.
Okay, I like that. I'll move around here while we're talking about. What are we talking about? The Toronto Raptors, guys, 5th in the Eastern Conference right now, 35-25. They gave some Cavs issues earlier this season. Where do you kind of see this group going behind Scotty Barnes and Brandon?
Mid. It's another team with like just I don't like teams that don't have like good versatility. And the Raptors have been a team with just way too many wings for too many years now. I mean, good players, but it's not it, bro. I don't know. Like I feel like Ingram, he's having a great year, but that's another guy that's like probably got to be somewhere else. Like he'd be better. Like I'd be hearing it if Ingram was maybe on like the Knicks this year. I don't know. It's just another one where it's just iffy. And Barnes is a good player too, but it's just not a combo that's going to be winning in the league. So,
Ethan, how about you?
Yeah, and I think they really haven't hit it on the nail really very well in the last few years when it comes to draft picks. Grady Dick has not panned out for them either. And I mean, when your third leading scorer who's averaging 18 has been on the trade block in RJ Barrett for the last 4 years, it's probably not the best scenario. But I mean, hey, they're definitely overperforming for what they should be. I think if you lose out on Bi or Scotty Barnes for a few games or for a few weeks, this team's going to plummet down the standings. But I mean, they're still, I guess, fun to watch. I've watched a few Raptors games this year. I think, in Toronto, the crowd is pretty active there. So
Jurassic Park.
They're entertaining, but I don't see them rising at all, really.
So where we throw them like top? Where do we put them?
I'd put them like is somewhere they're either in front of or behind Atlanta.
I think we might have to put them in rising because I mean if we have the number one team in the East and
rising, we might have to. We'll give them a little.
They're number 5 in the East, and the Pacers are last in the Eastern Conference. Someone's gonna look at this and be like, "You're an idiot,"
You gotta have nuance. You gotta have nuance. You gotta really.
What are we supposed to do? Just type out the NBA standings. This is our list. Damn it.
True.
And the last one, a team that guys, I just like, and as you know, I'm still getting more and more ingrained into the NBA. It didn't really make a ton of sense to me to trade for Anthony Davis and Trae Young. But I mean, like next year, kind of like they'll be good to go and start. So is that like, are the Wizards in window closing by proxy, basically?
I don't know because that's everything I said about the Pacers. Like they're gonna add a player too, so like they're also like
I didn't even think about that.
But they got so many guys that I could see that getting jumbled up so quick, and I feel like they need to trade some people because now it's like, what's the lineup like? They'd probably they'd be really hoping for a forward because you got Sarr and you got Davis, so it'd be forward or guard, but you can't go like small guard like Acuff because you have Trae Young. So now you're hoping you get like you're very limited to like if Boozer can be a 3 in the NBA, and then like you're looking at Debanza, Peterson, and who else may have you like. Where does Caleb Williams project and Nate Ahmed, and it starts to get a little iffy, but you have no idea how it's going to work. So, I mean, they're not Brooklyn Nets. I can't say they're rising. I can't say they're mid. I guess I'd say mid just off the potential, but the window is technically closing too.
We need like a lower window. We need a second window closing tier for that. for them in the Heat, they can have and the Magic. Well, I guess the mid and away has their own closing then. Ethan, where do you have Matt?
You know what, Jack? I'm going to put them in rising in my brain. I think the Wands are up in DC. I think that there is an exciting future coming to the District of Washington. Alex Sarr has made a big leap this year. Obviously he's taken a lot of shots because there really aren't many pieces around them. But I love the move for Trae Young. He's coming back this week, which is crazy to me, by the way, because they ruled him out indefinitely for the season about 2 months ago, and all of a sudden, the snap of a finger, he's back this upcoming Thursday, which is also nuts. Anthony Davis is also a great piece when he's healthy, but like if you look at the starting 5 on paper, like if you have Keyshawn George, you have Trae Young, you have Sarr, Bub Carrington, and you have Anthony Davis, you're like, this team's not bad. Throw in Trey Johnson as well, rookie from Texas, like. I think this team is an exciting 5. Like I think they would be, on the rise considering that they've won 16 games this year. I think that if this team's healthy, they can get to 30 to 35 next year. I think that is definitely a possibility.
Ethan, please, before I minimize your screen, if you could draw the Disney Wanda logo for the Wands Up with your microphone real quick. The Wands are going all the way up in Washington. I guess I have to somehow break a tie on that.
They're probably mid, but I think.
Which way is the wind taking it today? We're going to go with mid on the Washington Wizards. All right, guys. Final thoughts on the list before we call it. We'll hit maybe for Western Conference next time.
You're forgetting a team, son.
Oh wait, let me. Okay, wait. Western. Oh, the 76ers. How could you forget them? Okay, guys, we do have one more team coming in a stone's throw 2 games behind the Raptors right now in the Eastern Conference, are the Sixers in the 6th seed. What do you make of this group with Joel Embiid?
I'll keep it real and say window closing, but I mean, this is a mid team. But because he's suspended now, but I think Paul George is on the roster. It's still a team that if you get lucky and things like break your way, you have Maxey. Edgecombe's been great, and Embiid is Embiid. So I'll say window closing, but the window has never really been there because of injuries and what have you with the 76ers. But because of the way the roster is currently set up, I'll say the window is closing.
Rob, would a matchup with, I don't know if, this probably would not be possible. Or actually, no, it very well could be possible. Say the Cavs are at 2, say the Sixers fall back into the play-in, they win, or even at the 3, that's fine too. 3 and 6, they'd actually play right now. I'm an idiot. Cavs Sixers first round. Do you have any upset? Do either of you guys have any like upset alert? Throw the mouse traps out. We could be in trouble here.
That's not a cakewalk, bro. I mean, if you've been a Cavs fan, I mean, this is even back to like when LeBron was still here the second time. Like the 76ers play us just oddly close for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid is a awful matchup for Jared Allen. I mean, I've watched him just eat him alive. Maxey's another guy that's just a headache to guard. We're lucky Paul George isn't playing. I mean, he's Mr. Wash now, but I mean, that's still a player that's just out there that you got to worry about. Edgecombe's mentality. Now, granted, we have Dennis Schroeder, but I mean, that's a guy. I mean, that's if you draw the 76ers, it's not a free win.
No.
That's not a sweep. It's definitely, if they're healthy, that's probably a competitive series.
Mm-hmm. I think that they could take the Pistons 7. I think that this is actually a really good team. PG going down definitely does not help. Embiid doesn't play back-to-backs. That's just a big issue. But as far as like if it was Sixers Cavs, like Embiid is definitely like Jared Allen. That's definitely a bad matchup for Jared Allen, but like it's a bad matchup for most centers in the NBA. But what also is weird too is our bigs are also a bad matchup for them as well because like they don't have anyone that can guard Mobley down low, and I know we kind of shat on him a little bit earlier, but like they don't have that many people to guard him down low. Like Dominic Barlow, I don't think can lock down Mobley. They play Kelly Oubre at the 4 a little bit as well. Like they don't have the bigs to lock down, I guess, a team that's like the Cavs. But like if you're a little more guard centric, like the Pistons, and I obviously know Dern is really good, but everything goes around Cade. Like I think that maybe that's a team that could easily upset the Pistons, especially our team that's ahead of schedule. Like Maxey is averaging 30 for you. I hate that they traded Jared McCain though, but that's a team that's definitely could be scary.
Makes absolutely no sense they got rid of McCain. They could use the depth.
What was the story with that?
He was coming off injury and they felt like it wasn't working. Like they gave Edgecombe all his shots and minutes and he was struggling. And as soon as he went to Oklahoma City and got opportunity, he started cooking. The exact second.
Yeah. Is it just one of those things where it's like, why would you trade him to Oklahoma City? Like if you could trade him anywhere in the NBA, like that's just one place you're just not going to send a young, potentially good basketball player.
They have so many picks to give out. Like it's unbelievable. It's actually crazy. I think they've in the upcoming 3 or 4 years, I think they're in the top 3 with picks still, which is just crazy. Absolutely crazy to me.
All right. So we're throwing them at the end of window closing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, any final thoughts on the tier list before we call it?
I mean, to the untrained eye, it looks a little insane. But
it does. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Got to watch the episode to understand. Got to hear
the Celtics are in a category of their own, I guess. Which hey, I don't hate that.
Do you? Let me ask you guys that then. So, if you guys had to go place a wager right now, who is winning the Eastern Conference? Are you locking? Is Celtics what you'd feel most confident?
Yes,
I mean, that's what I'd throw my money on.
Yes.
I'd be surprised if they weren't favorites on a book, especially with Tatum scheduled to be back.
All right, how about that? Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back sometime soon. Should we go Western Conference tier next, or we flip it up? What do you guys think?
May as well do the West next.
Yeah, we'll do the West next. We'll figure something out. We'll be back real soon.